not like Sword Art Online, but I did like Sword Art Online Abridged. That shit slapped. But yeah, that shit slapped.
What did slap?
What do you mean? Slapped the bass. It was good.
Oh wait, we're recording.
Oh no.
So welcome to another episode of the AOE podcast. I'm Cameron, and with me is
Bird up.
Kakao. I don't think that's your thing, bro.
It's not.
It could be. They could spread.
I tried
to
though.
become my little birdies.
I don't know if you saw. I tried. My voice cracked like 16 times. Like I was a 16-year-old going through puberty. That's what happened.
Turn in your wings, young
I can't
bird.
handle it.
Yeah.
Thank
Turn in
you.
your wings, young bird.
I was always wondering if it would happen for a second time.
You gonna introduce
Said no
yourself?
one ever.
You gonna introduce yourself, sir?
Tortoise.
Cool.
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
That is clever. That is clever.
I like
sir.
that.
The
I like
tortoise.
I really do.
The tortoise among us.
Yeah. Tortoise. I wish I had something cool to say like that.
I'm Lynn.
Random Ninja number 9.
Damn.
Background character.
Ninja number 9.
Whoa. I don't know if you watch Magicians. Do you watch Magicians?
No, I was going to though.
Yeah, so it's a great show.
It's
in
like
this
a
show.
band, but the thing, I'm gonna be real with you first. Don't get me wrong, it is a great show. It's fantastic.
That's it.
But
You have to get
it's
over
like
it.
it's
Okay.
like an abusive relationship.
Okay.
That's how I feel about Supernatural.
No, because in Supernatural, like, you know, they at least allow you to be happy a little
No, they
bit.
don't.
They
No,
do.
You can't love nobody. It's worse than Game of Thrones to kill off everybody but Sam and Dean. Well, Sam and Dean die a lot, but they're the only ones allowed to come back.
No, that's
Literally,
incorrect.
the only reason
No,
why I
everybody
watch
comes
that
back.
show is Dean Winchester. I'm so sick of this show, but every time, Sam, like I have.
Dean, no.
Sorry.
You can say the same thing about the
Dean, they're not really.
Oh my God, right?
Everyone gets
You
it.
dare stand against me?
But speaking of the originals, y'all seen Legacies?
Oh, boy.
Oh my God, I'm watching it right now. I got to the episode with the fucking spider. It was so
Are you on
fucking
first season or second
gross.
season?
I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it. It's kind of cheesy. I'm over it, man.
Just what?
No, don't scratch your head with
The
it.
Yeah,
cheese is
to get back to the
appreciated.
original point. What show are we talking about?
We've been all over the
It
place.
was really good.
Yeah.
Damn.
Supernatural.
No, before
Oh,
Supernatural.
Magicians.
Magicians.
Oh,
yes. So, in Magicians, in this latest episode, this is why this show is great, because it has random...
They changed the meaning of the word pussy.
Yes. They have random things in this show that you think, at first you think is nothing.
No.
And then it comes back and like later
smash you in the
episodes,
face.
and it goes all around. And they bring importance to
They
little
literally,
things.
like the first
So-
episode of the first season ever aired, boom, smack you in the kisser. They're on like fourth season.
They have changed the definition of pussy. Okay?
They did.
You know, a lot of people say, stop
I
being
know.
a pussy. No, in this show,
The dude
Wait.
says, "Stop being a pussy," and the woman says,
what you mean being a pussy? Pussy is the most powerful fucking thing on earth.
yeah.
It can your dick take a pounding and keep on going?
Can it push
I
on
don't
a
think
human?
so.
Can it make dynasties rise and fall? No. Will people go to war behind it? Fuck no.
So the second thing, I mean, they have other things, but the second thing I'm gonna bring importance is this latest episode. They bring importance that you can't just put a book on a shelf. And I'll say that to say that let's imagine that we're all stories, per se. And so often in these stories, we're so quick to write off a character. Okay?
Okay.
So write them off as the side character. And we focus on what we deem as the main character.
So what you're
But-
saying is in this show they have a tendency of bringing importance to every character because it's not as though one person has more importance than the other. When you think they're a background character, surprise, they did something you didn't expect, and they pull to the forefront showing that everybody has a place in the world.
Yes, and everybody has importance. That role has a chain.
It's
That
something
one
like Naruto.
impacts this person and that person. And Yeah, because Mary went to the store and said, "How are you doing?" to one person. It changed the course of their whole life.
True.
So, that's what that show is all about. Nobody's a side character.
Yeah,
So don't say you're
I'm
some random number. You are important.
I know that. I'm
Yeah,
amazing. What?
Random number 9.
I'm still
There's
random ninja number 9, but I know that I'm the shit. Like you don't. Oh.
Okay.
You have to
As
give
long
me
as you know.
Oh no, you didn't have to give me a friendship speech. I already know I'm the
Okay.
shit. It's okay.
Okay. Damn. That's
That just reminded me in My Hero how Bakugo refers to everyone as extras.
Me? No, I'm not the extra. I'm Bakugo.
Yeah.
I'm loud.
Yeah,
and
so
mean.
it's like the exact antithesis to what he was saying right there. He is the main character and everyone else is the extra.
Yeah, stand behind me. I know what I'm doing. Alright, just shut up. I got it.
Do you know how many times number 9 is used in movies in order to implicate something deeper?
There's a whole anime
Thank
called
you.
Number 9.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Or the movie
Another
9.
movie? Yeah.
Love Post
Exactly.
number 9.
It took to the 9th time in order to get to the most human reaction of a doll. That's literally what 9 is. He's
But-
basically like
Surprise.
the most human out of all of them. Because each one was missing a certain characteristic except for
But for
that.
the mom vote, only took 5 times.
Well, first off, we're gonna get to some news. Pokemon, for the first time ever, they finally have DLC. Finally have DLC.
Yeah, with the new direct.
Yes.
I'm kind of stoked about that. Yeah, I
gotta
gotta
get that.
gotta give Nintendo all my
So what's included in that? Obviously new
Okay.
Pokemon.
They-
Like, is there a new area?
That's what's rumored. So they're gonna have like some
Two
type
new
of
areas.
Yeah,
There's
two new-
like
okay.
2 new islands. That's what's gonna happen from the DLC plus 200 additional Pokemon.
yeah. So it's gonna have some of the older
legacy
Pokemon.
and then potentially also expanding into other
Mhm.
Pokemon realms.
Okay.
But it's in the true fashion of DLCs, because they have 2 separate games, both Sword and Shield. There's 2 separate DLCs that go with each
delicious.
game.
Also,
So
you
it
can't imagine
continues
how
on
much
that.
work that dev team has went into to make this happen.
Right, especially with
Woo!
those 200 Pokemon, it hasn't been said whether or not all 200 of these same Pokemon are going into each game. So just like they've continued to have like a few differences between
Right.
the two, they can continue that even upon DLCs. Yeah, basically Nintendo just making all the money.
I'm stroke. Can't wait.
Speaking of games that, you know, new releases, things like that, isn't Final Fantasy VII's remake supposed to be coming out in March?
Yes.
Yeah, not looking forward to that dumpster fire.
Why not?
Why not? Why
How
not?
many
Okay.
times they
Okay,
tried to
two
remake
things.
this
Two
game?
things. Originally, when they first discussed doing a remake back when they used a fake trailer for Final Fantasy VII for the PS3 to show
Yeah.
its graphics, they released a statement saying that they would only do a remake under 2 conditions that were being met. One, a Final Fantasy game, or any Square game, would outsell Final Fantasy VII. Or they can get the original dev team back together. Neither of those conditions have been met.
So
This is a
not the
strict
original.
money grab. They're literally
Well,
riding
to
off their
com-
glory days.
To completion, but I would still argue that there were games like Kingdom Hearts that had a huge amount of sales. Just
Okay, but it's like a singular game. Like, that's not fair to use an entire franchise and be like, oh, the franchise outsold this one game. You know how it sounds like? It's like, okay, this one game sold more than any game they've ever sold. But let's put it up against an entire library. Ridiculous.
no, they didn't put it up in entirely.
But a lot of people use the Kingdom Hearts franchise as
there are
a
3
way to-
games. Final Fantasy has like 12.
No, but Final Fantasy VII was the highest grossing game they had. And they didn't meet either of those conditions. Worst off, instead of having Nobuo Uematsu do the music, because he doesn't fuck with Square no more, they're having Yoko Shimomura do the music with all her goddamn flutes and her goddamn violins and pianos. There's literally no bass, no percussion, no nothing. It is just all this Fallout fairy magic bullshit. Okay, everybody's super anime, cutesy, ooh, I hate it, and they're gonna cut it into 3 parts. Why are you gonna cut this? So you want me to pay $60 3 times? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Or are they?
I'm gonna do a GameStop rental. I'm gonna buy it used, beat it under 7 days, return that bitch, and then do it again next year. I'm not giving you any money, Square. Fuck you.
Okay,
Give me shit.
and here's my question though: are Are they gonna be the game and 2 DLCs though? Or are they 3 games? Like,
No,
they try to
no,
do
no.
something-
Square's out of money.
Yeah, this is gonna be
Square's out of
free.
money. They're
Okay,
gonna sell you
so
the
what
game
you're
for
telling me
time.
is they're gonna do some Destiny bullshit because like that shit's very upsetting as well.
But
Destiny's very upsetting, man. It really is.
Also,
All right, so I'm one of like those original Destiny players that like fell off because of their stupid shit, but they released the game way too freaking early, and then you had to wait a whole like year and a half before.
that's what happens when people pre-order. They already got your fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I had all the DLCs too. But you gotta like at first it was supposed to be like a month after the game came out. They were supposed to launch the first DLC. That month turned into a year and a half through Bungie. That's why there was a fall off because everyone hit the max caps like way too soon. Then how did they relaunch it? Oh, by the way, they relaunched an entire new game where they add on the Taken King. And they say, oh, by the way, give me another $60 so you can get this one DLC that we didn't include that actually made the game popped off because it increased
This
all
just gave it
levels
to
and
people who
calibers.
already
Sacred
had
King
it.
was 35, and it did change a lot.
No, it did.
So
It
it's the
changed
original
everything.
format.
Right.
Granted, the original way
And then-
it came out, but like that game got chopped like twice during its production cycle.
No, but that's what.
So that's why it launched in such a fucked up state. But look where it's at now. It's
No.
free to play.
That's. I understand that now. I'm just still salty about the
You can't
past.
stay. Yeah, they fucked up in the past.
That's
right.
all I needed
But they
admittance
working on
for.
it, just like
That's my
No
only
Man's
point.
Sky. I just watched some shit about that.
That
It launched in the worst possible
No.
state ever, but
No.
now it's getting reward after reward.
Well, yeah, but no. But that's not what was the worst possible. The part that made it the worst possible state is it launched after launching all of these demos on what it was, the expansions, everything that it was, and it launched way too soon. And then people like bought it, paid $60. People paid up to $200 because they had the special edition of No Man's Sky.
Right.
And
Sorry,
it's
No Man's Sky.
it's not like it had any
I'm
DLCs or anything that came with it. It was just like a super cool like thing where you got like a model of the spaceship or something.
Yeah.
And so then people were pissed. The problem with No Man's Sky was they tried to reach out to the person who was like the lead director, and the lead director had like left to some country in the middle of nowhere where he had no cell reception, no nothing. So it made it seem like he just ran off with people's money.
No, I don't know if you've ever worked in the game industry, but it is the most stressful shit. I would run off to a fucking deserted island if I could after working for Square. That shit was bullshit. My first day of work at Square, they were working on Final Fantasy 15.
that's
I can't even. No, it wasn't.
Oh,
It was
I
very not awesome.
I mean, I'm not
Very-
talking about it was awesome. I'm saying the fact that you went that's what.
Oh no, that was also not awesome. Okay, that was my dream job since I was like, I don't know, 6 years old. Like literally wanting to work for Square was my dream. My first day of work, the guy who was supposed to train us walks in with like a bunch of luggage and a backpack, and he's like, all right, so we gotta clean up this shit show for 15. They're taking half the dev team off America, and we gotta go run there and clean things up, and I gotta be on a flight in about 6 hours. So for the next week and a half, you guys are just gonna like familiarize yourself with the game, which is fancy for saying that you're gonna play video games for a week and I do shit. All right, bye. And left. No one trained us. We just played video games for a week. And then from that, after everybody came back, things just the super tight deadlines, the overtime. Well, by the way, when we did overtime, they did feed the shit out of us. So I'm not even gonna be mad at that, right? And they had a lot of little employee appreciation things where it was free food. So I'm not mad at y'all for that. But game companies have super toxic environments. Super, and everybody's so cliquey. Like they're making up for the fact they got left out of being like the in crowd in high school. Like they swear to God, they're like living out their crazy fucking
Yeah.
click
so
fancies.
Isn't it Square that has those lawsuits going on right now?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Sorry. What lawsuit? I'm trying to get my bread. What's going on?
Multiple. Anyway,
Multiple.
what I wanted to ask, so we've established this pattern of behavior where games are launched too early
Yes.
because of these kind of dynamics and pressure points that the developer puts on the creators of the game. So where does all of that start? Is it because people are pre-ordering, creating this demand that they want it sooner? It's like, why can't they just, hey, like when companies say, hey, the game's not ready, we're gonna delay it 6 months to a year as opposed to 6 weeks and the game's still.
Okay, so here's the thing. You have the overhead people who are getting pressure from investors and things like that to get things out sooner so they can have return on their money. The whole thing about reserves did not come from the people developing the games and people overhead trying to make sure that they have their money, that they can secure their investments. That has nothing to do with the people down below who are actually working on the projects, who are forced to do the overtime and carry on. Even though they're saying, hey, we're not going to be able to make it in time. They said, doesn't fucking matter. We got the money to make it happen. So they're like, okay, here's the solution. We can give you this much of the product and release the rest as DLC. People don't like that, but because we've gotten to this culture where it's socially acceptable to keep doing these goddamn reserves, like, I have to have it as soon as it comes out, or I have to get this extra stored by reason. No, fuck that. But it's like we've been duped into wanting this, and it's like it's not up to us or the developers. It's up to the people up top who pushed the deadlines in the first place. You got a little popcorn in your face. There you go. It's a fucking nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. Because if everybody stops doing reserves, it's not as though they'll stop asking for them. They might even turn around and do something else with pushing the cost onto the DLC itself. You know what I mean?
So
it's like
what do you think we could do? Like, do you think if we boycott, don't buy any more DLC? It's like all gamers took a stand and stopped buying DLC.
I don't think that'll work. I honestly, it's not something that can easily be done. Like, oh, let's all stop doing this one thing because it's how hard it is to get people to do.
You're just convincing them to do that because people are pre-positioned to pre-order, especially whenever they give you these incentives that you can only get from pre-ordering. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you can just go to GameStop and say, "Hey, I forgot my code. Can you give me another code?" And
but
like,
what if we did come together as gamers and we took a stand? It was like, no. Hey, this game developer, we're not going to take this. We're not buying any of your shit.
And how would you pose that people all come together on the same banner, like we're all gonna be out here under the Battle of Helm's Deep? Like
the next game, the next game that comes out, and that we know it comes out too early and it's broken, and we say, hey,
I understand what you're suggesting, but how would you implement that? How would you incentivize people to go against their better nature about receiving free things for something they're going to pay for anyway? How are you going to get them to understand? Because some people, oh, I get it, but what can you do? Anyway, here's my money, GameStop. Like
social media. I think if
and whom among us has the platform to push that agenda?
I think if we keep going, and I mean, it's not. He does. But I mean, if we keep going,
great again.
No, but let's say one person watched this podcast, right? That one person's like, you're right. Let's rally.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this exact same thing. You know what? You're right. I already have like 6 games pre-ordered that don't even come out till next year. That is not gonna stop me from pre-ordering. I'm gonna be real, because either I'm gonna get some statue or I'm gonna get something, and I'm just gonna be like, oh.
I got it, you don't, because I pre-ordered and you didn't.
I'm just gonna do it. And the thing is, a lot of times it even comes with the DLCs on which other people have to pay for.
Listen, check it out. Like, I agree with you, because I don't agree with pre-ordering. I think that's bullshit. I think it's a stupid thing. But let me tell you, I sure as shit did pre-order the the Persona 5.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You got him right. You got him right. With the mask.
Yeah.
And the metal with the yes, all that I did.
That's what I'm saying. But like, my main thing is, I also don't. What I think is, I don't think the game developers truly understand the power that they truly have. Like, I'm going to use Kingdom Hearts as an example, right? Kingdom Hearts 3. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like the game because I didn't like the fighting mechanics of Kingdom Hearts 3, especially when you took all this time in order to make this a freaking game. But at the same time period, did I pre-order Kingdom Hearts 3? Abso-fucking-lutely I did. Have I forgiven you every year that you said you were gonna come out with Kingdom Hearts 3 and you didn't? Abso-fucking-lutely I did. Literally, it was one of the most pre-ordered games of the year, and you took 10 years to come out with it. My thing is, I think that's a perfect example of people really don't give a fuck on how long they have to wait for a pre-order. If it's a good, solid game, people will be okay with it.
Right. And how do we push an agenda where we
and the thing is,
force it's not even up to the developers. It's the people above them. It's the upper management that pushes the deadlines, that makes these decisions.
But
because the people below, the people who are actually developing the games, their job is to develop the games. They don't make any fucking decisions.
Nope.
They
I
make
get
the
that.
games. That's it. And when the guy above says you need to make this game, this game is supposed to be done in a month. You need to make it in a fucking week. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you're fucking dying. People die on development teams all the time. And it's not up to, if it was up to them, they wouldn't pull that kind of overtime.
But I get it. But how's the only way to hurt them? Sales. If they stop of these big game developers stop making profit every time a new game comes out.
Okay,
Then
but
they don't
that's
deliver.
not okay. So here's the issue with that, because if you notice, you have a lot of development companies going under all the time. The people who are in control, they don't just have their money in games. They have their money in televisions and cars and in car games and shit like that. If their development company goes under, that's just a minor investment that they lost in. So it's a huge systematic issue that we have with labor, not just video games. So it's not something that can easily be solved with let's all put our foot down. Like we can't. Because the people above who call the shot, they have enough money to just let people just fucking starve.
Well,
They have enough money to underpay their work staff.
Not only that, I'm gonna be real. I think there's at least one game that if they came out with a sequel to, that each one of us who's at this freaking table would pre-order without even thinking about it.
I don't know about that, Chief.
You don't know about that? But Persona 5 got you money though, right?
Yeah, well, of course. Is that the game you're talking about?
I mean, it could be. There could be other games in which they come out with later, in which could just you'd be
You
like,
know what,
"Hey,
Atlas?
yeah."
You know what? I'm full of shit because Atlas will always have my dollar.
There you go.
Atlas
They
will
have good
always.
games. Catherine was so good.
Listen, I play Catherine so much day in and day out. I started dreaming about like breaking blocks and jumping up, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I a fuck nigga? Am I a fuck boy? Am I being punished? Like,
I'm just saying. Proof is in the pudding.
Atlas is good.
Just change the subject.
Craig, what kind of?
I wanted to get everyone's opinion on DBZ Kakarot coming out soon.
I'm stoked.
Are you with it because
I already have
of
it.
the
It's like Breath of the
RPG
Wild.
elements?
Oh, I already have it. pre-ordered.
Or are you
I
kind of
already
like, I'm just tired of playing the same fucking battles over and over and over
Well,
with new graphics every year?
I'm disappointed because it's not the full story. Like you have all this content that has came out. Like it's not even.
How far does it go? Does it go
From my
seven?
understanding, it only goes to 7, right?
Look, man.
From
all
wait,
that-
but from where does it start?
It starts when Radix.
Yeah.
Oh, dang! I was
So
hoping
you're not
we
even
get a
like
little Dragon Ball.
No.
It doesn't even have any
So
Dragon
it's
Ball.
the same battles that we've been doing every single year.
And
every
people
other
like
year.
straight up forgot about
It's
Dragon
like,
Ball.
oh,
I
new
feel-
graphics, but it's like, yeah, I get it. I know what happened. I was there.
Yeah, I was there, right?
Yeah. So and that's my whole thing. They didn't go far enough. If it was really I
I would have
could deal
liked to
with
do Young
Super Mario.
Goku, Red Ribbon Army type shit. Like I would have liked to do like old school Dragon Ball. Like,
Even Boo Saga, even
No, I don't need Boo Saga. Look, what I need to happen is I need a video game
Here we
where
go.
Gohan takes over. That's all I need.
that bro just wants to get an education.
So,
he don't give a fuck about
Will it
fighting.
be
He just
alternate
wants to go to school.
timeline, different canon?
It'd be like future Gohan, except it ends happy, where he doesn't lose an arm and he doesn't
Okay.
die to.
Yeah, from that
future.
universe.
Right.
Okay.
What I want.
Your character intervenes somehow
Boom.
and prevents that from happening,
That'd be
and
dope.
you continue from there and face other villains.
That'd be
Shit.
dope. Or like the whole thing is, and like you get, like they've already established with DBZ and Xenoverse and all that other kind of stuff, like the Time Bureau and all this other kind of stuff. So what would be really tight is if in like DBZ, the Kakarot game, you start off as like young Kakarot, and like fucking Trunks just intervenes somehow, and Kakarot's like, what the fuck? And he's like,
Yeah, because Trunks did do that time travel.
exactly.
Yeah,
and if,
exactly.
And then he says some shit like to Goku, like, Goku, you actually need to take care of your child.
No,
You
you
know?
don't need the green nigga to
Something
take
like
care of
that.
his baby.
Yeah. No,
That's that.
or just say some stuff like, yo, you're gonna meet a man named Piccolo, he will become your best friend and raise your kid. Stop Chi-Chi from fucking up his life. You know, just something like that, you know? Like, Chi-Chi's saying this, like,
Or if you
This
were
is
a
what
better
gets
dad, Chi-Chi might let Gohan actually be a Z fighter.
No, but like this is what gets
Or
me the
let
most.
Piccolo sacrifice himself instead.
Something.
Then
But
who
like,
gonna raise his son?
Nah,
Not
Piccolo,
him.
no.
No,
but like,
Goku's so
no.
quick to die
But
every
like,
single time.
hang on.
Like,
But like, let's be real. If Goku had been the one to raise Gohan, like real talk, if Goku had been the one to raise Gohan, yeah, Gohan may be a fighter, but he'd be like the worst fighter ever.
yeah, he'd be like
Because
fighting for the fun and for the friendship.
No, but like not even like he would never get serious like ever. He'd just be like,
Piccolo used
I'm
to
gonna
be a-
fight you with one finger and then get his ass whooped.
Look, Piccolo used to be a villain. So of course his fighting style is going to be much like a villain. So he passed it to the Gohan, and Gohan's like, I'm a pacifist, got slapped around, got his dad murdered. He's like, okay, now I'm going to fight like a villain. Nigga, you got to get clapped. That's it.
And boom, every
Boom.
single time.
Boom! And the thing is, he wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do. No. He's like, when it came to do the dirt, he did the dirt. He did the dirt.
That's what pisses me off so much because every single time like a new villain comes up, he just gets so mad. And he's like, if only I had never stopped training. And his wife is over here just super supportive, like, oh, you want to stop teaching and go fight villains all across the universe? Have fun. See you later.
Bye.
And she's over here with like a kid and pregnant and still saying that. And I'm like, bruh, not only that, but your father-in-law is freaking Hercule, who's like the strongest man on earth. And he's literally like, yo, I'm getting old, so I actually want to retire. So if you could take over my mantle, that would be great because I could easily hand it to you because, you know, you're my son-in-law, my daughter. You know, I could even say that I was the one who trained you. By the way, let's go through some training courses so you can make up your mind. Learns a whole new style of fighting. Masters that whole new style of fighting, even though he didn't even need to use any of that because he already had an evolved form. And what happens? He's like, no, I'm just gonna go teach, even though I could make way more money than that, and I could fight all the time because every single time my dad comes back into town, I suddenly get this possession over me that says, hey Dad, you want to spar?
Listen, fact of the matter is, we got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. We didn't get Dragon Ball Z Gohan,
That's what I need.
Goten, Gotenks.
No, I don't need
we
none
got
of
nothing.
that.
We ain't got nothing. Listen, we got what they're giving us, and we're gonna buy it, and we're gonna have a good ass time.
Nope, I'm gonna pass.
Okay, well you can pass, but I like to enjoy them. So.
I already bought it.
Yeah.
Just like Cyberpunk. Yeah, I already.
I'm not gonna sit up here and
Cyberpunk
overanalyze
coming
some
Yes,
stuff.
I already bought
Coming
that
soon.
too. And
I
I
mean,
mean,
system near
Why am I
and
gonna
I
buy a
pre-ordered
game?
that. So then I got the Keanu Reeves statue.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tired of buying games.
They
and
knew exactly
not
how to
being
get it.
satisfied
Yeah.
with them.
The Keanu Reeves statue. Yeah, you
Hot
got it.
after John Wick 3 too. That was
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I was on the
Yeah.
page just like hitting refresh. I was like, it said sold out. I was like, no.
Speaking
No!
of Keanu Reeves, are y'all excited for Matrix 4?
Huh?
Are y'all excited for Matrix 4?
Yes.
Actually, what I am excited
I
about
need
is
a
that new
trailer.
Bill and Ted.
I'm hyped for that too.
Excellent.
I'm hyped for
With
that. I'm
Alice
hyped for Bad
Winter.
Boys. I'm hyped for Bad
Bad
Boys for
Boys.
life.
Oh my God.
I'm ready.
Next
Be
week?
good.
I'm ready for it.
Let's get her done.
Yep.
Wow.
There's a lot of movies coming out that I'm just hyped
What year is it?
for. It's 2020. You see like clear vision in this year?
Let's see. I can see clear down the rain. This year's gonna be fucking trash.
Sort this out for me real quick.
Damn. You know what 20 divided by 20 is? 1. Because you only have one life to live.
Oh
Damn.
my God.
Damn.
You a dick, bro.
That was
An
deep.
inspirational moments by Eat a Dick Industries.
Eat a Dick Industries.
Sponsored
Sort this
by-
out for me real
Going
quick. So, talking about Bad Boys 3,
Okay.
I noticed in the trailer, and someone told me it's always been this way, but I feel like maybe not. In the trailer, it's like 85% Will Smith and like 15%
It's
Martin
true.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's
But-
last.
Other people have told me that Bad Boys 1 was like mostly a Will Smith movie with some Martin Lawrence, but I felt like it was more 50-50 or maybe 60-40.
Well, the thing
And it
is,
seems like as the movies goes on, Will Smith wants to
I
do
don't-
all the action and all the shit, and Martin's like, I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
I think
I
it's
think
like-
it's always been like
no,
that.
I think what they did is they did the Lethal Weapon combination. Like in Lethal Weapon, you had
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson and
The Glover guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny
You
Glover.
got it?
And the
It's
thing
quiet the
is,
whole time,
in
guys.
Danny Glover, like in the beginning, Danny Glover always had like a very small, minute role. Like during the big action parts he was there, but otherwise he was with his family.
Yeah.
But the
As
thing is,
movies progress.
it's because of the way that the family is incorporated, I would always argue it's a 50-50% split. And it's because every single time period, Martin Lawrence's family is completely involved. Look at Bad Boys 1. Bad Boys 1 was primarily about Martin Lawrence's character taking on the persona of Will Smith's character. Bad Boys 2, although Martin Lawrence was in it dramatically less, it was about the love relationship between Will Smith and his sister involving his family. Bad Boys 3, I have no idea how they're going to incorporate his family, but, from what I've seen, Will Smith just up in there, and he's just like, bro, I'm just trying to fucking retire. Why you got me doing all this dumbass shit?
So you think it's gonna be more about Martin Lawrence
I
finally?
don't give a fuck what it's about. I'm going to see it. They got my money.
Yeah, same.
Take my money. Let me watch it. That's all I care about right now. Also, I need to contribute to Will Smith's movies more. That man
Yeah,
came
like
out with
that
that.
shit comes, shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Like freaking, they came out. Damn, that was like 20s, 10s, and there wasn't a single one in there.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of ones.
Oh, I didn't
There's
see a
zeros
single.
behind 'em.
God damn it! What?
Damn.
I'm in the wrong business. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it.
Golly.
What the fuck am I doing wrong? What the fuck?
Oh, I heard it. Shut up and take my money.
I mean, y'all gotta be quiet now.
Mhm. That is correct.
Speaking of Shut Up and Take My Money, 1917 just came out. I really want to see that movie on
Oh, yeah, that
IMAX.
was good. 1917.
It's a one-shot movie about World War II.
But okay, we've seen a lot of World War II
Wait,
movies. How is this
1917?
gonna be
Wouldn't it
different?
be?
It's more
World
about-
War One.
Is it?
Not-
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
like two people
Yeah,
that
it's
because
true.
1930-ish would be World War II. 1917, I'm pretty sure World War One.
Ooh, for a second there, I thought you were gonna be like
World War question mark.
2020.
It would be World War Three.
Three.
Yeah, okay, so the night that shit popped off with Iran, I'm sorry to get political with y'all, but no. It was the one. Okay, so I get insomnia every now and again. This is one of the nights where I just couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. I was like trying. I drank some sleepy time tea. I even took a NyQuil, and nothing happened. I was super mad. So I'm on Twitter, and I'm like, whatever. And on 3 a.m, it's like we just killed the shit out of their basically president, vice president, and I was like. And then about 15 minutes later, memes.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my god.
Did you see that? Did you see that one meme where it's from the 40-year-old virgin with Kevin Hart?
No.
Oh, it was hilarious. Kevin Hart's up in there, and Kevin Hart's, like in the 40-year-old virgin, when Kevin Hart's like basically trying to talk about something, and then he's talking to the bald-headed black guy who also plays in A Million Little Things, where he plays a videographer there, who does commercials and stuff like that. Also a great show, but it's too dramatic. So, back to the main point.
Yeah, right.
So he's in there and he's like, and of course Steve Carell's character is right behind him, and he's like, and how it starts off is, the black guy with the bald head, he's Trump. Steve Carell is the United States. Kevin Hart is Iran. And Steve Carell comes up and he's like, is there anything that I can help you with? And the black guy with the bald head goes, no, he's good. He understands that if he comes in here with this representation, he may get clapped. He understands who the boss is now. And Kevin Hart goes, oh, he with you? He with you? And the United States says, I don't. And Trump goes, no, I got this. Yeah, that's my boy. He got my back. So when you step up in my square, you about to get clapped. And then Kevin Hart goes, okay, so he with you. Oh, you don't know how you done just fucked up when you're straight at the United States. Like, you don't know how you just fucked up. Both y'all about to get clapped. The bald-headed black man, who's playing Trump, yo, come back, I get off at 6. Well, what it's about? That's what the meme is.
And calmly, and that's what the meme is.
That's what the meme is. I meme had me rolled.
I saw, okay, so I hate to be explicit. I'm probably gonna do it anyway because I've been drinking tequila. Do you guys remember last year where
2019.
where Yahoo had a typo, and instead of saying Trump wants a bigger navy,
Oh,
he
he
said
wants
Trump
the
wanted a nigger navy.
That was my
Do you remember that
favorite.
meme?
Black Twitter was my favorite.
Yo,
during that time.
okay, so check it out.
Yo, speaking of Black Twitter.
Wait, hold on. Somebody, let me bring it around.
I've been trying to
So-
let's get
Bring it
question
around.
marks.
Bring it around. So when the shit popped off with Iran, somebody posted the kids next door with the Navy pulling up and they're like playing the music and they're playing some like rap song, like probably
Give you
debating,
buck.
right? Now give you buck type shit. And they're like, oh, the nigger Navy pulling up for the World War III. And I'm just like, oh my God. Literally, Twitter does not skip a beat. And I'm wondering, is this how we're gonna die? Not in fire and flames, but with the giggle of a meme?
I'm gonna take my ass to Japan.
Hey,
I'm gonna take my ass to sleep.
I'm gonna take my ass to
that's
Switzerland.
not a bad way to die, though. I mean, at least it's by laughing.
I was in Europe. It's not popping. I mean, sorry to y'all.
No,
sorry
that's-
to that man.
No, that's my point. It's not popping there. Nothing goes on. It's fine. We'll be okay.
No. I mean, it's not good. But you go ahead if you want to.
What you mean
I
it's
just
not
got back
good?
from there, but you go ahead if you want to.
To Switzerland? It's not good in Switzerland.
You know, Switzerland's connected to the rest of Europe, right?
Yes, but they're
okay.
neutral.
So
Oh,
Canada, you know,
Yeah, but Canada's
snowboarding, you know.
but Canada's
And they're gonna have
No,
Meghan Markle
no.
and Prince Harry in Canada now.
but Canada,
That's cool.
Canada will just be straight fucked just because of connection. They're connected to the United States. Therefore,
Listen, I'm just gonna go back to California and chill. Everybody gonna be like, oh my God! I'm like, wow, that's wild.
California don't detach yet.
I mean, I
It don't
can
matter. The privilege keeps me detached. There you go.
I can drink and be the same way and be like, I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm gonna drink and be detached in nice weather. So.
I got nice weather.
That
You know?
dragon
I got the best of both worlds. I got winter in the morning and I got summer in the evening. Yeah.
When's the last time you been in California?
That's too random, man. I would like a controlled environment. Hint.
70 degrees every day, the whole year.
Can I get a cold
Perfect.
Christmas?
But that's
Can I get
Fuck
a-
no. You gonna use
Please
super.
get a
You gonna use
goddamn
super soakers
cold-
on Christmas.
But
No.
that's boring though. Like,
That's fine.
you know,
That's better than
what about those
85
random nights?
and sunny.
You know, what about going out and you're going to the bar
Mm-hmm.
and you
I
just
can do that
you
anyway.
feel the music. You know, you feel some rave music.
I feel
You're
that.
dancing.
I feel that night.
And you see that one girl, and by the look of the room,
There she
it's
go.
like I just gotta talk to her. And
What's
say,
that?
You gotta talk to that girl, dog.
What's that to do with here and there?
Can I take you out? And she's
Hold on.
trying to.
No, you can't.
She's
You're at
trying
the
to-
club, you gotta like dance. You gotta talk.
No, you're dancing,
Okay,
okay?
Oh.
And it's like, I don't normally do this, but let's go right now. And then y'all leave, and it's raining. And it's like, I didn't know it was gonna be raining. And then you cover her up,
There's a,
With the jacket?
okay, right?
yeah, with a jacket.
What is the point
The
of
music's
this?
still going on?
I don't know.
Wait,
we're still-
No, y'all outside of the rave now. You're outside of the rave.
Oh,
Okay? And you're like, I got you. And then you walk over to the burger place next door.
Craig, it's raining. Put on the hood.
Yeah. To the burger place next door.
The burger place.
Everybody
Is
put your hands in
that
the air.
even burgers?
I mean, it's just
She gonna leave
y'all
you,
being,
dog.
y'all being spontaneous, okay? So y'all go to the burger place.
In LA, you're gonna take it to a taco cart like a real man.
You got that in Houston too. What side of town you on? We can be in
Taco cart.
in Taco Cart.
Listen, in LA, you'd have had all that with no rain.
It's raining. I don't
No,
want
but rain-
burgers.
But rain can
Ew,
be beautiful.
Why do you want burgers?
I want to have
party.
sushi.
Right.
You want
What do you
a
think?
burger?
Honda's right
I
there.
want burgers.
Honda is right there.
It's raining.
Ew.
Ew.
I want
What
to
you
go
want?
home.
Ew.
I'll take you.
I'm
Wait,
calling
wait,
an
wait,
Uber.
What was the point of this?
I don't know.
He knew it was gonna rain.
Anyways,
He knew it. When he checked the
Nintendo
weather.
Nintendo started a sale at noon today.
Oh yeah, I'm with it.
And what's the sale?
It's like everything, including the 3DS games. They have 3DS games on sale, which I thought was pretty
So do they have Nintendo Switch games also?
Of
Yes.
course, they got all Mario games on sale. Celeste, which isn't a Mario game, but it's a really good, like, hard game. It's $9.99, and I was like,
How long is this gonna be going on?
to the 16th. I'm with it. Yeah.
Tight.
So my next paycheck, you know where
You
it's
think Mario
going.
Kart's on sale?
Huh?
You think Mario Kart's
It is on sale for
Alright.
$41.99, I believe.
What?
Mm-hmm. They got the game.
So this is the time.
I'm about to buy hella RPGs.
Just let me know which ones you buy. And then
Sure.
I'll-
Whatever co-op games I'm getting.
Somebody get Octopath. and
So what is it about?
I hate
RPGs
it.
that's
I
like-
hate it.
I tried the
fucking
trailer.
hate
I
it.
like the premise of it, but when I actually played through the that demo I downloaded, because you can play between the 8 characters and they travel together, but they don't ever
They don't
really
interact. No.
So it's weird.
It's a weird disconnect. It's like they don't actually acknowledge each other where it matters.
Yeah.
So it's like you're friends per se, but you're really just like you have a main character and your friends end up actually becoming NPCs, and they don't
Yeah.
interact. It's really
That's
weird.
why I was like, I might as well. That's when I pre-ordered Fire Emblem before it came out. I was like, might as well get Fire Emblem.
You may as well
You
just get
interact with
Suikoden.
everybody.
Just get Suikoden.
That's my shit right there.
Really?
Boom,
Yes.
Suikoden. Yeah.
Since when? Which
108
one?
stars.
Since
Fuck
ever.
this bitch.
Which
It's a
one?
good game.
Really?
It's a good game.
It's been out forever.
No, that's Fire
Suikoden.
Suikoden. Yeah.
Yeah, build
Yeah.
your own castle and everything.
Which
Yeah.
one? Which one's your favorite?
All of them? Like,
I
not
mean-
played?
My favorite either has to be number 2. I think that was Super Nintendo, was it? Or was it PlayStation? I don't remember. It was Suikoden 2 and then Suikoden 4. I heard 5 was garbage, but they were kind of trying to do a naval thing with that, and I didn't
I
get
haven't
it.
gotten that far.
I didn't.
I stopped at 3.
Okay, I played 4. 4 was on PS2, I believe. Yeah. It was bomb. Loved it. As a matter of fact, yeah, Suikoden 1 and 2, I believe you could carry on your 108 stars from one game to the next with a code.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I know that's one of the few games back in the day you can kind of do a next game plus.
What is it about RPGs that like keep us coming back? Like what is it about
Interactive
the story?
storyline. It's also kind of like a form of escapism. Life is garbage, and then you're like, well, let's just go fight the government, overthrow it, and kill God.
So does it matter? Like does it matter if you can create your own character, or do you connect more with the stories of, hey, there's this separate character that's separate from me, and here's their background, here's a story that you can live like of somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you connect more to those stories, or do you connect more where you can see yourself in the character?
I don't like stories where I can see myself in a character because I'm getting away from myself. Like, I know I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm the best. But sometimes I just don't feel like being me. And I feel like being a fucking child soldier in a flying school who's fighting a time witch. And my girlfriend uses her dog as a gun. So, that's Final Fantasy VIII, by the way.
Oddly specific.
So I don't really care, and also I can't really put myself in the shoes of the character, even if it's like a silent protagonist like Link, or like somebody from like Dragon Age or whatever. Like how many main characters are black, female?
There's one coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One.
it ain't out yet, but it'll be there. But
One.
one out of how many years of gaming?
Right. Anyway, so
You're right. And there's few black males too. So would we say there's not enough diversity in games?
They're trying to get there lately, I feel like, but there's still to be more diversity, definitely.
I mean, I feel like people make it harder than what it really is, or make
Yeah.
it like a harder
A big
deal.
issue, and it's
Like
like that.
literally, they're like, "Oh, representation," and so, and like, "Or you're forcing me," and like, listen, just take the color slider, push it over to black, and be quiet. That's it. That's it. When people are like, "Oh, I don't know, we can't make this show about a woman," da 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 da, literally write the character and put a vagina on it at the end.
But just like you said, like sometimes you don't like to live as yourself, and sometimes you just want to see another woman and see their story. You know.
Yeah.
But you don't get a lot of games like that.
No, fuck no. Like, what's that one game? It was really fucked up where you were killing the guardians of the earth and they were just minding their fucking business. It was on PS2. You had a horse. And it was really fucked up. Like they were literally minding their business and you murdered them because some villagers told you that is what.
Yeah, I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah. Shadow of the Colossus.
Thank you.
Shadow of the Colossus, and The sequel they had to it, the original premise, the main character was going to be female, and they changed it at the last minute, saying that, oh well, since there's a lot of climbing, we don't want you to look up her skirt, so we're just gonna no, never mind. Like women can't wear
Then
pants.
put pants on her.
Right, but meanwhile, Kingdom Hearts 2, you can walk up to Kyrie and let that last area with the nobodies, turn the camera real hard, look up her skirt and see her panties. But you know, shout out Colossus, you know. Cartoon can't.
That's
It's a lot of weird shit, you know. I think people like to make excuses. I think people don't really care. Like they didn't think about it until it came time to the interview, and somebody's like, "Why did you do this?"
Yeah.
And they had to think of their toes, like, "Well, pants. I mean, I don't want them to see up a skirt." And it's like, really, you just didn't want to do it.
yeah.
You just didn't want to. Instead of just saying, you know, making an excuse saying, "Oh, well, you know, we don't want him to look up skirts, but we just wanted him to be a dude." Let me be a dude. Fuck it. All right, fine, I accept that. Play video games with dudes and love them. Fuck it.
I enjoy playing the girl from Horizon Zero Dawn.
What's that? Never heard of it. Is it good?
Yeah,
an
it's like
anime.
in the future with robot dinosaurs. In the far future. Yeah, that's
I like that.
definitely.
I like that. Skynet meets
Future
Jurassic
Tomb
Park.
Raider, yeah, dinosaurs.
I like that. What's that on?
You integrate yourself into the plot. PS4, Xbox One, I think PC.
It's on Steam, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So, do y'all think, like, I mean, lately, I haven't seen that many of them. Like the musical games like Guitar Hero,
I'm not.
Rock Band, and stuff like that. Do y'all think those type of games are dead? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But why?
Unfortunately,
Switch still
man.
has just.
If it was up to me, I
PS4.
would say bring him back. Bring him back with the original controller, not with that bullshit they gave us last time with the upper and lower levels. No, give me the original controller with modern beats. Don't give me that I'm entertaining a live crowd bullshit. And make it VR. Fuck it. If you're gonna fucking, I
That's the
am
Garden.
a rock star.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be
You know?
dope. That'd be dope.
Okay, so.
So yeah, if anyone wants to develop that, anyone in the audience want to develop that, holler at me.
I'm fucking with it. I'll pre-order the
Guitar
shit
Hero
out of it.
Metallica 2 in VR. Let's do it.
Look at yo.
Anyway.
I remember when I was in high school, Guitar Hero 2. No, Rock Band. Rock Band had just come out. And my friends and I were poor as a bitch. We had $0. And our parents had $0. So there was zero hope of us getting this little $200-300 game with the guitar and the mic and the fucking drums and all that shit. We couldn't afford that. But what we used to do is we used to go to Best Buy. And we used to just play on it to the right. But we went there so much that we started getting crowds. Yeah, we started doing like Super Showman stuff. And I feel like people really need to have that again. I feel like people need to have interactive games where they can enjoy it with each other and with the people watching it. Because like, let's be honest, like with Let's Plays and stuff, people really enjoy watching other people play games.
But how do you get that back? Like, I mean, you have VR. You have the Switch. So you have these new ways to interact. It's more mobile than it's ever been. You have better graphics. You have these interactive spaces. So what is it going to take for
Marketing.
So you don't think there's
Marketing's
not
everything.
enough marketing right now?
They're not focusing their marketing on things like that. They're not. But anything could be sold with the right marketing. Anything.
Y'all remember back in the day where you could get 8 people on the PlayStation 1 in a local game? That.
You
That
used
too.
to be able to do that on the fucking 64. That's why you can open the bottom
Exactly,
of it.
but these new modern systems are mostly like 1, 2, maybe 4-player games if you're lucky, but that's
And you have to
rare.
go to the internet for everything.
Exactly.
You do want that.
Exactly. It's single player online, 1 person per console. That's why, the people in the background don't really have anything to do.
So pretty much right now it's
So
teaching
watch.
us to be antisocial. It's it's hey, I'm gonna sit at my house and not go
Yeah.
out, and hey, I'm gonna.
I feel like Switch tried to remedy that because Nintendo has always been the friend system, the party system, the system where they try to bring people together. They had the little multi-tap for the controllers. They had Nintendo 64 that had the four ports. And the Switch, before it came out, when they were first advertising for it, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna play this game." They put the controller, boom, take it to the party. Oh shit! I took the system out of my house, brought it outside, and then everybody's playing it. It's the tits.
Yeah.
You gotta have it. So I feel like,
Except for the part where you need a dock, you can't just take it to someone's house and be like, put it on the TV. Oh wait, y'all got a dock? You got a dock?
No, they have a cord now. Like this,
You
you
have
can
to
travel.
buy a separate cord. They need to make it to where it can
true.
just
Yeah,
connect to
basically
any-
a fucking dongle. Like,
True.
They
But
have
still.
that. They have that through Kickstarter.
what?
A dongle.
Gross.
I never said anything about dangling though.
I hate that word, dongle.
Dongle.
What about moist?
Uh,
Moister than an oyster. Some people get really grossed when
Yeah,
I
I
say
don't
that.
understand that.
But Morris?
Yeah,
Why?
people get really grossed out when I say that, so that's why I'm always talking about being moister than an oyster. Just go all
I
out.
never get that. Like people have like said it to me like moist, and I'm like, okay. Mood, like I don't know.
So what's your
I like
trigger
that
word then?
I don't have trigger words.
You don't have nothing?
No,
Nothing grosses you out?
I'm
Right.
gross. That's why.
What?
Babies crying.
Baby's
Every
You know
time
what?
it
Those
gets
aren't
to it,
words.
it's-
That's a sound effect, and I hate it.
Okay.
Can you please?
Look, right.
Please just. Alright.
Can't okay, it's gonna drown in a
So Aaron,
bathtub.
what's yours?
You've been quiet, Mr. Quiet.
My trigger word?
Yeah.
Silence.
Ooh, that's
It's
fine.
okay for me, but not anyone else.
Oh, I hate silence.
Wait,
I ain't
wait,
lying.
the word or just
The
no,
act of
no
being
sound?
silent.
I guess the act.
Yeah, the act that kills me. I'm like, let's go do something.
I don't know, I really like, I don't know. It bothers me when I've had a friend for a long time and like we're hanging out and they won't shut the fuck up. And it's like, listen, we should be able, after all this time being friends, we should be able to sit in a room and just never say anything. Like sometimes we'll hang out and we won't say shit. And we'll just be in the house and nothing will happen and then I'll leave like, it was fun, great, good looking out, see you later.
Every weekend.
I mean,
we don't have to say shit.
but how do you know that like they just don't want silence because they're actually dealing with something, and it is
There's
they
a,
don't know how
there's
to
a
say
vibe.
it.
There's a vibe. There's a vibe. You just be knowing. Because every now and
Yeah, it's
again,
like-
you be doing your
it's
own
like
thing. She'll be on the
mutual
phone. I'll be on the phone. I'll look up. She'll look at me and be like, and then that's it. And then sometimes I'll send her a meme, and then I'll hear her laugh from across the room, and I know I did good. And that's it. that's it. Not to say that I like only want to be quiet all the time because you can tell I love to fucking talk. I love the sound of my own voice, but like sometimes it's just.
Do you think a friendship can last like overseas or like
One of my
without
best friends
talking
lives
to
in
her?
Belgium.
Really?
Yeah.
One of our friends is in Japan.
But how do you keep those memories and like
What do you think? We
as
talk on the phone, we send memes. Like, it's the
Video
future.
chat.
yeah, but like okay,
It's
like
the future, man.
at the same time though, like things are happening in your life, and
Yeah.
but your best friend's not there.
Yeah, when you tell them about it.
Okay.
Because your friends won't be there every time. You only have yourself 100% of the time. So, I mean, like you gotta go it alone for a good portion of your life. So, the best you can hope for is a good friend where when you get home, you're like, guess what the fuck happened? They're like, no, you're lying. No, for real. Like, and that's good. That's good. And it doesn't matter how much distance is between you guys. When you're good friends, it'll never matter. It'll never matter. We can edit this out, right?
We're running out of footage too, so we should get to hey, what's everyone looking forward to for the year?
2020.
What's everyone want to plug? Because we're at like somewhere around 50-ish minutes.
Yeah,
Well, you
we
said we
got
got an hour 20.
we got it.
You know, like pick of the week or whatever.
Yeah, pick of the week. Pick of the week.
What's yours?
My pick of the week is there's a new exotic sidearm in Destiny 2 called Devil's Ruin, and what you can do is you can unload your whole clip, and on the last bullet hold the trigger, and then you fire laser beam, which is good against the staggered enemies, which is like for end game. So whenever you're fighting like the hardest of the hardest bosses, and they're coming at you like they put in this new mechanic that no matter what you do, the bosses will keep coming at you no matter what you do. So you use those specific types of weapons to do extended damage on them.
So do you have to buy that
Nope,
separately?
totally
or-
free.
Okay.
Free to play the game.
So everybody
Go
gets
in, do the seasonal event, which is the sundial. Takes 10 minutes. You get the first step. You do the second step, which takes another 10 minutes. You got the gun. Go in the crucible, pop some heads. That's my pick of the week.
And when is that going to be released?
It's out. It's out right now. Just
Okay.
came out this Tuesday.
Popping heads.
All my guardians out there.
Pop, pop.
Go get that gun.
Bang,
pop,
bang.
pop.
Sebastian, what you got for pick of the week?
I'm on hiatus for this pick of the week. There's nothing really good for me to recommend.
And what about the anime we just watched?
That's the same pick of the week that I've been saying every week.
No, what about that one that was before it?
Tune in to previous episodes in order to find out what my pick of the week was last time.
What about that other anime that we just watched?
That's anime. I'm
I
gonna
think
say
you said it is. The pick of the week for
That's-
last week.
Yeah, no, that right there it's a one episode. I don't recommend one episodes. You
Okay,
can't recommend
okay.
one
Yeah,
episodes.
this is. I feel like it's for loyal viewers. The ones
Yeah.
who watched the previous episode will know what his pick of the week is.
Correct.
And if you haven't watched the previous episode, that's incentive for you to go back and watch it,
Okay.
so you can find out what the pick of the week is.
Correct.
So what you got for pick of the week?
Texas made Soulful.
What?
No?
right?
okay.
Texas made what? What they do? What we do?
Soulful. It's an alternative to tequila. Tastes very much like it, but no burn.
Get the. Okay,
Where
but
do
where's
you
that
get
though?
from?
Soul Tool.
It's Soulful.
Where is it? How
Oh, you have it?
Soul Tool.
I would like to have some.
Yeah, can we
Can I try
pass
some?
it here,
Hold on,
sir?
What?
Can you give me a cup? Because I
Does it
want
go
to drink
well
that.
with
Because
seven?
Sotol for the viewers. SOTOL.
You know what? I'm just gonna.
I was thinking Soul Tool, like a tool for your soul. Then I was also thinking Soul Glow for
It's
Coming to
Ursula
America.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna make Coming to America 2. It's a
What's it
whole
made out
train
of?
of thought.
Is it made out of agave? I don't think so.
It's not.
No, it's not made
Soul
out of
Glow?
agave.
Well, it's made out of a Soulful plant, but
It's made out of a soto plant.
Mm.
What
Oh,
it is
Soto.
to,
What is Soto?
it's basically a cousin of the agave plant.
yeah.
You want a cup?
Then what you got
Yeah.
for your pick of the week?
Lynn, what's your pick of the week?
Can I promote myself?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna promote myself. Hello.
Alright.
It's me, Lynn. So I've been making. I started up my own line of chokers, and there is a choker in particular. It's what I'm. You can't see the charm, but it's doing this, which is the American Sign Language way to say, and you shake it, be like, "I love you." And 20% of proceeds go to HTC ISA, which is an interpreting student association of students who would like to someday become certified American Sign Language interpreters. So I'm selling these on my Etsy. And yeah.
Awesome. Random Ninja number 7.
Number
Number 9.
Almost had it. I almost had it.
No, you did on purpose, being
Whoa.
disrespectful. You
No, I thought it was 7. I thought it was
No,
7.
we had a whole discourse about it. You full of shit. Anyway, Random Ninja number 9. I'm here to promote my friend. Buy her shit or I'll fight you.
Yay, it's me.
That's it.
Again.
Buy it or you.
I mean, she's number 9.
Gonna
That means
be
she got
alright.
8 other ninjas. That means she gotta talk to some homies, and you got 9 ninjas on.
On your ass.
And nobody said she was the last one either. There could be a 10, 11, 12.
There could, yeah. We didn't say how many ninjas there were.
No, we didn't.
But at this point,
It could be like
at
at
this
that-
point,
at my battle
at this
moment.
point, no matter what the situation is, if I'm on my 9th ninja, I'm done, man. I'm tired. I barely made it through the last 2.
That's what I'm
Jeez, I
saying.
was fighting them, and
You
I
ever fight
stabbed them, and
ninjas?
then I'm
Right.
wounded. I'm hurt.
But it's okay, because
I'm
like.
humbling, and I open the door.
More
There's
ninjas.
another ninja.
Yeah.
God damn.
A nice shit. Cry chop your ass to death.
Can
And
I-
maybe you might get me got, and I'm down here breathing. Guess what?
Say-
It's anime, and the friendship dictates that somebody will save my ass before I die. They're gonna stand up.
Well, it's all good.
Actually, it's either
Save,
two things.
load main
Either
menu.
one, pull up
A power
happiness. Yes.
A
I was
power
gonna
up?
go with the power up that magically heals your wound, and then you're like,
You
it's
go
like
ham.
exactly, and then it's like you go from like 9th ninja, and then your name changes to like
Get to 9,000.
No, or like 9.5, and you're like, just what is that
This isn't even
0.5?
my final form.
Exactly, and it's like, oh, by the way, I just upped a whole nother half of me, and you're just like, what the fuck does that mean? Boom! Next time you get hit, it's with 1.5 times strength. That's enough.
Right.
That's enough to take a motherfucker out.
And they're gonna play "You Say Run" and it's gonna be beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that song.
My last pick of the week, it's what I mentioned earlier, Doctor Strange, Surgeon Supreme. Pretty much follows Doctor Strange like in an alternative story of if he never lost his hands and he was still in a medical professional and found magic. So you can check it out either buy it online or go to your local comic book store. But thanks for joining us for another podcast. Peace.
Peace out.
Pizza.
Peace be with ye.
Pizza?
Who's ordering pizza?
I ordered it last time. No, wait, did I?